White Sox baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. And we are coming to you from Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri, where this afternoon CSN Chicago presents White Sox baseball. It's Avi Garcia, Jose Abreu, and Ricky Sox as they get set to butt heads with Ned Yost and his Kansas City Royals. Hi, everybody, and welcome. With Steve Stone, I'm Ken Harrelson as we get set to bring you the finale of this three-game set. As you know or may not know, they have won the first two. They won the opener 7-6 in 10 innings, and last night, and we had a 5-1 lead in that ball game. Then last night they won it 7-2, and boy, did they ever attack our bullpen with some bombs.
This is not a team known for its power. Kansas City is known for some speed. They're known for their defense, but power, last night they showed it. 5 home runs, tying a season high. Salvi Perez, Moustakas had a couple of home runs last night. Brendan Moss takes one way back, and then Bonifacio helps to make it a lot more comfortable for Kansas City in this series. So it was the long ball last night with some pretty good pitching by the Royals, and hopefully today the Sox can salvage the finale.
You know, there was an interesting statement in our notes as we got to the ballpark and looked them over last night by the manager, Ricky Renteria. You very seldom see a manager. He said he's surprised that Melky Cabrera hadn't been traded yet. Melky's had a tremendous series.
I'm surprised he hasn't been traded either. And last night he went 4 for 4, making a case for perhaps going to a contender. But Melky hit the ball awfully hard last night. He hit a home run. He drove in 2. This one high off the wall was a single. But this one, he learned his lesson. He hit it a little further, and that was his home run. So Melky has really turned it on of late, doing just about everything right offensively and hitting from both sides of the plate. So that's not a problem for him as he applauds himself. And there you can see what's happened over the last 6. He's hitting .480. 3 home runs, 2 doubles, 5 driven in. The OPS is outstanding. And Melky hopefully will keep it going. And I know that he's auditioning for 29 other teams, and those that are in contention could certainly do better than Melky.
Well, he's going to be facing a southpaw out there, a former Cub.
There's a couple of southpaws, and Travis Wood goes to the mound for Kansas City. He's known for his hitting, and he's been in the bullpen most of this season. Now he's getting his 3rd start. Derek Holland has really struggled lately. As you can see against the Royals, he's actually thrown it pretty well, 3-1, 372. But recently, he's had a hard time with that rolling breaking ball, hard time keeping it down, a hard time throwing strikes with it. Hopefully today it will be a whole lot better for him.
All right, finale of this 3-game set. So sit back, relax, and strap it down because White Sox baseball coming your way.
Kansas City, and let's take a look now at the Sox farm report as good things are happening down on the farm, and we're going to take a look at least some of them. It revolves around Jake Peter. He was at Birmingham and Charlotte this year, hitting .362 in a 12-game hitting streak. As you can see, the numbers are terrific with 4 extra base hits. He's driven in 5 and scored 7. Plus the on-base percentage is outstanding. So last night at 3 for 5, he was getting it done. And last night, Jake Petrichka had a rehab appearance at AAA, so hopefully he will be back in the not-too-distant future. The bullpen can certainly use him. So stay with us. We'll be back with baseball after these messages.
In Chicago is brought to you in part by Toyota. Tested, trusted, Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite, hold true.
Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium for the finale of this 3-game series, and Kansas City playing pretty good solid baseball. Winners of 4 games in a row. They find themselves a game and a half in back of Cleveland, tied with Minnesota for second place in the Central. So beautiful day for baseball. Not quite as hot as it was the last couple of days, but still a cloud or two in the sky. No rain on the equation after a lot of it last night. Let's take a look at the standings in the Central as we enter play today with the Indians on top. There you see the Royals and Twins. The Tigers still have a belief they might be in it, even though they're talking trade with a lot of other teams. And Verlander's name has come up. The White Sox, as you can see, 11.5 games back. And things at this point of the year are going exactly as was planned. You assembled the younger players, you trade away your major league assets, and then you're hoping to build a foundation for sustained excellence in the next 5 years or so. So let's take a look at how Ricky Renteria is going to line up our Sox for the game this afternoon. Going to be Adam Engel leading it off, playing center field. Then it's Melky, who had a big night last night. Jose Abreu, Avisaíl Garcia, Matt Davidson, swinging it really well right now in a 5-game hitting streak. Yoan Moncada, Tyler Saladino, Omar Narvaez, and Yomer Sanchez at third base, hitting 9th. Here's the defense and how they're going to line up behind Travis Wood. It's Moss, Gordon, and Bonifacio. Gordon has played just a few games in center field, so this is out of position for him. Moustakas, Escobar, Merrifield, and Hosmer. A Gold Glove for Escobar, 3 for Hosmer, with Drew Butera getting the nod behind the plate. And our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is Travis Wood. You might remember him from his days with the Chicago Cubs. He's a man who can hit, but he won't be swinging the bat today. There you look at the numbers, his 3rd start of the year. So they're not expecting him to go too much after 5 innings. They would love to get 5 out of him here this afternoon. Let's take a look at the umpires for the game today. C.B. Buckner has the plate. Manny Gonzalez has first. The crew chief, Fielding Culbreth, is at second, and Mark Carlson is at third. So they've thrown the ball around the infield, which means we are ready for baseball on this lovely Sunday. And that means it's time for me to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
All right, Stoney, thank you. And once again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on CSN Chicago. So happy you could join us. Oh, and just a beautiful day here in the heart of mid-America after somewhat of a unbelievable rainstorm last night after that ball game, minutes after that ball game was over. I've been in 5 hurricanes, and I have never seen rain harder than what we saw last night for about 20 minutes.
Timing was excellent because the game ended, and then the rains came not too long after that.
First pitch to Adam Engel, taken for a strike. And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. Engel comes in at 227, a couple of homers, driven in 5, and he is 1 for 7 in this series. Boy, he had a stunning catch last night. I think we've seen enough of him with the leather, Stoney, to understand that this guy is legitimate. He's good.
Well, he's one of the guys that gets great reads off the bat, and you factor in the great speed with good reads, you've got yourself an excellent defensive center fielder, and we've seen that there's nothing he can't do defensively.
The ball comes up for him on a nice bounce. So right now, let's check out our picks to click this afternoon. Fans went with Yoan. Crew's going with Davidson. Steve, as usual, front runner. He's going with Avi.
Oh, I got to shake Avi out of this. I mean, he only had 1 hit last night. I got to shake him out of this.
And Pete Catazone. Pete Catazone, myself. We are going to stay with our guy. Pete, hope you're feeling better, buddy. He's a little under the weather. Here is Cabrera hitting at 296, 13 homers, 56 driven in.
Let's break down the stuff of Travis Wood for you. The fastball not overpowering. He does have a curve. He's got a straight change. These days he's more curve straight change pitcher, although he will cut it on occasion, but not all the time.
This is the 10th meeting of the year between these two clubs, and in the first 9 we have won 5 of them.
There you look at the career numbers of Travis Wood. Travis has been around a while. Brought to the major leagues by the Cincinnati Reds. And Melky is feeling some pain right now.
Yeah, that'll get your attention.
Hermie comes out. He wants a word with Melky. That looked like he cut it inside right off the top of the left foot.
Been there and done that.
Yeah, well, that was the time, and you've told me a number of times something that I would think, and I've never experienced it. It's one of the things on my bucket list where they heat up the paper clip and then pierce the toenail, and then it relieves the pressure. And no pain whatsoever, I guess, huh?
The last time I swung a bat. Guys have tried me over the past years here to get in the cage and hit a few for them.
Yeah.
I said, you couldn't pay me to do that, because the last swing I ever took was down at Hackers in South Bend, just out of Niles Road, just outside of South Bend. And I hit a bullet right off my big toe on the left foot. I went home, got the paper clip out, heated it up, stuck it in there, and it shot right up to the ceiling.
Jeez. Yeah, that doesn't sound great.
It's a little ugly, too.
So Wood was with the Cubs for 5 seasons and only 1 year, and that was at 5-4. Only 1 year was he over 500.
2 down.
You see where Butera wants it? He didn't get it low and away, but Melky, looking anything but fastball, takes one essentially right down the middle.
So here's a Brave. 3 for 8 in the series, hitting at .293, 16 long ones, 59 driven in, and he takes ball 1. He's had some pretty good luck against Wood. He's faced him 5 times, has 4 hits, 3 doubles.
It'll be real interesting to see Gordon playing center field. This was a natural third baseman who moved and won 4 Gold Gloves and left. Today he's in center. It's a completely different read, and you have to have a whole lot of speed.
Well, there's some people, and I'm one of them, that think the easiest position in the outfield play is center field.
I think the ball does less to you, much less than it does on the corner.
Exactly right. That's why it's the easiest place to play.
If you got the speed, and that's, I mean, you can't play center field on a daily basis in the major leagues without big speed. Gordon doesn't have that kind of speed. He had good speed, just not great speed, and this is a huge center field. This is his 3rd start of the year in center field, his 10th game this year in center. So late in the ball game, many times Ned Yost will shift him depending on who he needs at any given time. Right now he's got 9 relief pitchers. 9. 2 moves off the bench for Yost.
Ball hit hard. Down past Ever Magallanes filling in. Nick Capra, who is recovering very nicely, knock on wood, from some back problems.
And I talked with Ever, and he's very happy to be here. This opportunity afforded him. It's been a good one. He certainly wishes Nick well. Nick is on this trip. He looks pretty good going through what he went through. Yeah.
And that's the base hit. Merrifield usually catches everything. Couldn't get there. So the 2-out single. And here's Avi.
This one barely scoots by Merrifield, who we've seen in right. We've seen him at second. He can play just about any position you care to play him, and we've seen in this series he swings a pretty solid bat.
Avi 2 for 8 in the first 2 games, hitting at .312. Big gap in left center.
Now Gordon is moving a little bit. He was in to right center. Now he moves probably 15 feet to his right, putting him in absolute straightaway center. You ever get a read from a shortstop as far as him setting up during the course of an at-bat?
Well, what you do is, yeah, you look at, sometimes you have trouble if you're, I played a lot of center field, and you get reads off your second baseman and your shortstop. There's that guy can play, but he's safe at second.
Going to be a base hit, I'm pretty sure. Moustakas did a nice job of cutting the ball off. Realizing he had no play at first, Avi hustles. Moustakas knows that, so he tries to go the short way, and Jose was busting it to second base, and he got Avi a hit.
Well, that's the residual effect of earlier in the year with Ricky Renteria. He was not asking, but mandating that these guys busted on the base paths and busted down the line. Now, in the last, month and a half, 2 months, we've seen we're as good as anybody in this league at doing that. Here's Davidson. And I check it up.
That was a cutter as he got it down and in. Matt's been swinging it pretty well lately.
But you know, talking about playing the outfield, there's so many ways you can help yourself. First of all, you got to be into the game. You can't take the pop up with a strikeout out to your position. As that's looped softly, and here comes Bonifacio, makes the catch. So we get a couple of hits, strand a pair, and after half inning of play, it's our guys nothing and their guys coming to bat.
Bonifacio and Hosmer at the top with Perez, Moustakas, and Escobar in the middle, followed by Moss, Gordon, who's had quite a series, and Butera rounding it out. The defense and how they'll line up behind Derek Holland left to right. Cabrera, Engel, and Garcia. In the infield, Sanchez, Saladino, Moncada, and Davidson. Omar Narvaez gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus experienced amazing starting pitcher is Derek Holland, who has been struggling recently. On for his 19th start. There you look at the rest of the numbers. He got off to a very good start this year. Lately, not good command of that curveball, and the hitters are making him pay the price. Derek is writing a note to himself.
Derek Holland. He'll get this thing ironed out. He's too good a pitcher. And he is a free spirit. I'll say that complimentary. It's nice to see guys like that. And one thing I like about Derek too is once he gets hit hard like he has been lately, he's got what you have to be a Major League Baseball player, period, not just a pitcher, a hitter as well. He's got a short memory.
Right now, C.B. Buckner is remembering what it felt like to have no pain, because that got him flush. And with no protection there, you see right on the outside of the bicep. And CB's not feeling too good right now.
Well, we always talk about the catchers take a beating. I tell you, those guys take a beating behind that plate as well, the umpires.
CB is okay, and what Derek Holland does is he wrote Sister Frances Evan, a huge Ranger fan from the time that he was down with the Rangers. She passed away Friday night at the age of 90. And he wrote a little something to her at the back of the mound. There's going to be a whole lot of scouts, and there will be just about each and every game, especially as we move closer to the end of July. A lot of scouts very interested in the outing today of Derek Holland.
Three-one pitch. Hi, Papa. And fighting that now is called off. Boy, I tell you,
that was kind
he got bailed out.
That was kind of interesting because Matt called for it at first base and was nowhere near the ball. I thought it was kind of interesting. He's calling for it. Well, in the meantime, the ball is drifting to Moncada.
I was saying Moncada. That's the Sanchez was Moncada. Yeah, Johan bailed him out right there.
He did. This is popped straight up. Normally, what you want your pitcher to do is direct traffic. He's pointing up. I think you guys know that. And it drifts, and fortunately Moncada came in and stayed right with it because Matt Davidson was not going to make this play.
Nor did he want to.
Can't blame him. That's a tough play.
It's Bonifacio. Big strike one. Jorge 1 for 4 with a home run coming last night in this series, and the count 0-2. Now, when you had mentioned that you get a read off a shortstop or a second baseman, I was thinking that you were talking about from the outfield, from center field. Hitters, there are a lot of hitters that do that. I don't think as much today as in the past, but yeah, they got reads all the time, especially with their peripheral vision, watching the guys if they moved, and all of a sudden now playing them a step or two more to pull. You knew it was going to be an off-speed pitch.
Well, and here's a perfect situation because you look at shortstop where Saladino is lined up, and they're playing Bonifacio as a dead pull hitter. So he would have to believe, and he's seen the cause of that when he goes to get him, he wants to get him inside, trying to force him to pull the ball.
Well, and also he can see Moncada out of his peripheral vision.
Yep.
If he were to move just as the pitch is being delivered, you're still looking for the ball. That doesn't bother you at all about seeing the second baseman move maybe a step or two to his right. You know it's going to be, inside and something probably off speed. So that would lead you to believe from a left-hander to a right-handed hitter, the slider or the curveball.
And Bonifacio fouled that one off.
But the last 4 years that I've played, primarily right field, I knew every changeup that was coming.
It was given to you by
the second baseman.
Yeah, that happens. It used to happen a lot where you knew the off-speed pitches, especially if you were lined up not playing guys a pull hitter. Now you see a changeup and you got a really good idea if he does hit it, he's going to pull it. So regardless of what position, you will shift, and that normally gives some sort of insight to the hitter about what's going on.
All right. There's the walk.
Had a chance to talk with Dayton Moore before the game, and we've been talking about Moustakas, the fact he's going to be a free agent. Dayton Moore, the general manager, has his hands full because not only is it Moustakas, it's the man who's at bat. It's Hosmer. He's going to be a free agent. Kane is going to be a free agent. Escobar, their shortstop, is going to be a free agent. And there's not enough dollars to keep them all.
Hosmer 1 for 4 in the series, hitting at .313, 14 homers, 46 driven in. And for the most part, he's the face of the organization.
I would think this would be, if not the #1 priority, certainly 1A. I think they'd like to lock up Hosmer for quite some time. You see his career against Holland. The lefty-lefty advantage doesn't hold up here for Hosmer, who's got good plate coverage, especially middle away.
Short lead. Bonifacio. Not hit hard. Take your time. Got him. Good, good, good. Davidson with a good throw. And that'll do it. So after 1, there's no score.
Farm, and we'd like to welcome all of our viewers watching on Mulberry Cooperative Telephone in Clinton and Tippecanoe counties in Indiana. Welcome.
Yohan Moncada will lead it off, be followed by Saladino and Narvaez.
Yohan looking for his first hit in a White Sox uniform from the right side. He swung it pretty well as a left-hand hitter. And last night, hit one to center field that took Kane all the way back to the track.
Takes first pitch strike. Out in front, count 0-2. Our Sox come in hitting at .257 as a club with a 4.59 team ERA, which is very uncharacteristic for Don Cooper's staff, one of the staffs, with so many injuries. As that's out number 1.
On strikeout number 2, Travis Wood.
Yeah, things have just not gone right from a starting and our bullpen. Our bullpen, the first month and a half, 2 months, was very decent, even with the injuries.
And unfortunately, it's been the same guys who have been hurt. And Patricia is going to get back. Putnam lost for the year. Nate Jones lost for the year. But after his rehab stint, Jake Patricia probably not all that far away from coming back to help the pen. And when he is healthy, he is a big help to the bullpen.
Well, he had a perfect inning last night in Charlotte.
Yeah. He should be maybe an outing or 2, and he should be ready to go. Tyler has yet to hit a home run. And today, pretty good shot at it. Very lively park. Wood's given up 4 home runs in 38 innings of work, so he doesn't throw a whole lot of them. His control hasn't been close to what he would like. He came in with 19 walks in 37 innings.
Softly hit. 2 down. So here's Omar hitting at 260, a homer. He's driven in 9, 1 for 5 with an RBI in this series.
Well, you got a guest here, and he's a fairly large fellow. Huh?
Big Red. What's up, buddy? Rick Sutcliffe, former Cy Young Award winner, and did it the hard way. Start off in one league, goes to another, and winds up winning the Cy Young.
Well, Rick actually had it down because he realized that nothing bad can happen if you don't let go of the baseball. So he kept it in his hands for quite some time. Time of possession for him on the mound was big.
He gone. And that'll retire the side. 3 strikeouts for Wood.
Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
Salvador Perez. Like Moustakas. Now Alcides Escobar. Well, you talk about Rick Sutcliffe. 2 of the guys who had the best, 2 of the best mound presences I ever saw in all my 57 years in this game. But Don Drysdale and Rick Sutcliffe.
They're both very big men. Both came up with the Dodgers. And Rick went on to go to the Cleveland Indians and then get traded to the Cubs for Joe Carter and Mel Hall.
High pop up. Boy, that sun is just absolutely. So Tyler's going to come in, bail everybody out. Good job right there. 1 out.
Yolmer lost it. I mean, Yolmer had it. He saw it. And then at the last instant, he turned away. Unfortunately, Tyler Saladino, who is normally where he is supposed to be, was able to make the play in fair territory. This is a good play, and Yomer has no chance. Nice heads-up play by Tyler.
Here's Moustakas. Well, Drysdale loved Sutcliffe, loved him as a person, as a pitcher, and he taught him a lot of things. And they were both 2-for-1 guys.
Oh yeah.
You hit one of their guys, they're going to get 2 of yours.
He had no problem throwing inside.
No.
And when he came to the Cubs in the middle of that 1984 season, he went 16-1 the rest of the way, and Cubs were able to win the division. 16-1 for the big man that won the Cy Young Award that year.
Yeah, has that ever happened before or since? Guy starts off the season with one team, comes to another, and wins the Cy Young Award?
Good question. I don't know. I know that
Dave Ross is going to look it up for us.
I know that there's a guy that was traded, won a batting title. Willie McGee was traded and won a batting title. There's a man who is red hot. Moustakas has 3 home runs in the first 2 games of this series. He's got a very good chance to break the all-time Royal record for home runs. Steve Balboni with 36 of them.
Shifts perfect. 2 down. So here's Escobar. He is 2 for 9 in the series.
Escobar came really close to taking a walk last night. It was 3-0, and you figured pretty much if it stayed in the park, he would be swinging when it got to 3-1, which is exactly what happened. But you're looking at a guy with 9 walks and 368 plate appearances.
Well, the way you framed that starting off, I mean, that's all you had to say, because that means he don't walk.
he's of the swinging Escobars.
4 for 16 lifetime off Derek. Three and one. Left side. They're off right there by Yolmer. Nice play. Nice inning for Derek. And we're into the third. Still no score.
Later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Luis Sanchez then back to the top of the order with Engel and Cabrera. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for our guys. No runs, no hits, no errors for their guys here in the top of the 3rd inning on the finale of this 3-game set. That ball hit well into left center field. Nobody's going to get that one. So Yolmer will start it off with a double. That is his 12th two-bagger.
Jumped on a first ball fastball, and that one was up in the zone, and Yolmer crushed it. That ball pretty much right down the middle, just above waist high, and Yolmer hits the daylights out of it. So now Adam has a job to do one way or the other. In a scoreless game, you've got to get Yolmer to 3rd.
Well, you've been hitting on it and alluding to what he should be doing right now. And that's that only. If you're going to go that way, you got to. If he hits that ball, there might be a play at 3rd base.
Yeah. Yes, unfortunately, with a left-hander on the mound in this situation, normally you'd want the 3rd baseman to field it. But in this situation, just keep it away from Wood as he falls off to the 3rd base side. Push it right at Merrifield at 2nd base.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
Tried to move that one to the right side with a swing, and there quickly the count 0-2.
Looks like Butera was getting up and wanted to go behind Yolmer at 2nd base because Yolmer was not running, but Butera was starting to stand up, getting ready to make the throw, and the ball was fouled off. Butera has handled the catching duties in 2 of the 3 games as Ned Yost is trying to keep Salvi Perez's bat in the lineup without all the strain of catching him on some red hot days.
Well, that's the right thing to do.
Especially as you're getting to the point now where your team is in contention and most likely will be the rest of the way. You want to make sure one of your leaders, and Perez is that, is rested, healthy, and ready to go as they move down from the middle of August on through the end of the season.
One out. And Husky fans, join us for NIU Day on Sunday, July 30th, as our Sox take on the Cleveland Indians at 1:10, and you can purchase a specially priced ticket package to receive your game ticket and a one-of-a-kind White Sox NIU hat. Now, hats are limited to the first 1,000 purchases, so get yours today. And to purchase a specially priced ticket package, visit whitesox.com/NIU. Cabrera chops that one foul. He struck out his first trip.
So Butera to the mound. A very short conference. If you get Melky out, they'll have a decision on whether they want to pitch around Abreu, put him on first base. Both Jose and Avi got base hits in the first inning. This Royal team last year, 8 intentional walks all year long, fewest in Major League Baseball. This year they have 10, still way down there.
There he goes. There they go and pick him off. So 2 out.
Travis Wood, thinking he might be going, uses the inside move to second, and then Yolmer is hung out to dry. So it's 1-5-4. Merrifield running him down, and a runner taken out of scoring position.
There's another area that the game has changed a lot in. Boy, for years and years and years, I was probably led the pack in being anti-intentional walks. Those days are gone. There are some guys today that you have got to put on. I mean, that's how good they are.
Yeah.
There are some guys today. Well, they were back in those days too. You know, when you ran up against Mickey Mantle when he was swinging a bat good, or you ran up against some of those guys. Today, if you don't go around certain guys, you're taking the worst of it.
Well, it's especially if you've got a young pitcher on the mound, he's going to have a hard time pitching around a guy, intentionally not trying to throw strikes. Veterans have done it any number of times. They can do that. Most veterans, by the time you're around that long, you get a pretty good idea about how to pitch around somebody. When you ask a rookie or first-year, second-year player to do it, it's very difficult.
Moustakas plays that hop perfectly. We'll go to the bottom of the third, still scoreless.
Robertson and Canely are now Yankees, but what about the return? What the trade means for the Sox rebuild, plus welcoming Yoan Moncada to Chicago. Subscribe to the White Sox Talk podcast today.
Brandon Moss, Alex Gordon, Drew Butera.
Throw the ball down to Moss, you've got some problems. He hit a home run last night. And he hit it on a thigh-high fastball middle in, which is where, if he could order it up, he would like it. Anything up high, not too good at. Last night, it's David Holmberg who gave up 3 of them. And this one to Moss in the 6th inning, the 3rd of the 3 6th-inning home runs.
And Dave Ross did some digging and came up with Rick Sutcliffe, who is the only man in Major League history to start the season with one team, get traded, and win a Cy Young with another team.
The lead. I mean, the fact that he started out 4-5 and then got traded and then was unbelievably good after that.
Went from the American League to the National League.
Yep. That's a perfect pitch, and he didn't get it. Now you got to make a difficult pitch to a home run hitter.
Payoff pitch. So 1 out. Derek is working a little faster today than he has been, getting it and throwing it.
I think that's probably the best thing you can possibly do if you're going through a streak where you're struggling with your rhythm, with your command, with all of the things it takes to pinpoint a pitch when you're a major league pitcher, because you can't get your rhythm working terribly slowly.
Alex 5 for 8 in this series with a homer, hitting at 207. 5 homers, 31 driven in on the season. Of course, a lot of that has to do with the catcher. Breaking ball strike. Some guys just take too much time behind the plate. It's almost impossible for a pitcher to work quickly. And you know who I'm talking about.
Well, there's been a few of those over the course of the years. One of them actually played for both teams that were called Sox.
Three and one. Out and around that one. Shift. Pretty tough bounce right there for Yohan. He makes it. And that's 2 down. And a reminder, you can join our Sox in honoring Chicago area police and fire departments on Thursday, August 10th for Police and Fire Night. Now, the first 10,000 fans receive a special Police and Fire Night commemorative T-shirt presented by UL. For more than half a century, UL has been committed to fire safety, so learn more at ul.com/fire. And to get those tickets, visit whitesox.com/PDFD or call 866-SOX-GAME.
Utera was on base 4 times when he started Friday night. 3 base hits and a walk. It was hard to find more difficult parks to play in when it was really hot than this park and St. Louis when they both had the artificial surface, because they were talking about temperatures anywhere from 135 degrees on up off the surface. You could actually see the heat rippling.
Oh yeah, you could see the heat.
Yep.
Coming up off the ground.
It was not easy to play in either of those places.
Two out. 2-2. I think maybe the playing surface that took down more guys with injuries, artificial surface, was Montreal.
Montreal had the worst.
Yeah.
The worst of the artificial surfaces. It wasn't AstroTurf. It was almost a tartan turf, and it was hard, and it just tore up the knees of a lot of different people, including Andre Dawson.
Andre Dawson, what a great player.
Terrific player, and as soon as he came out of Montreal, had that huge year in '87 with the Cubs.
49 home runs and won the MVP.
Yeah. MVP for a last place team. That's a good trick. Cubs have had that a couple of times. Ernie Banks, MVP on a last place team.
He gone. 1, 2, 3 innings. That's 7 in a row retired by Derek, and still we're scoreless. guaranteed rate. And if you're thinking about buying a home, well, visit rate.com to find a low mortgage rate and a fast and easy process. Abreu, Avi, Davidson. 0-3-0 for us. 0-0 for them.
Second time through, they've got a pretty good idea about how the changeup moves. Is he using a curve or a slider? Is he cutting it into the right-handers? And second time through, they know if they didn't when the game started, and obviously Jose likes what he sees against Travis Wood. Cut that one in on the hands as Jose fouled it straight back.
Three and one. Touch him up. Touch him up right here. Bit of a gap out there in right center. The stock is way back off the line of third. That was a strike, and the count goes full.
Pretty good pitch at 3-1, although he didn't want to throw it there. That's where it went. Butera was set up inside. Wood threaded the needle on the outside corner.
At 29,647 in the opener on Friday, had 34,088 last night. Crowd today is not going to approach either one of those, but still not bad for the Heat. That's fouled back.
Pretty amazing in the division. Kansas City 29-23. They have the best record at home in the division. Cleveland surprisingly in first place, 23-24 at Progressive Field.
And there's ball four, so the leadoff walk. First walk issued by Wood. He has 4 strikeouts, and here comes Avi, who had an infield single.
Outfield pretty deep. There is a slight gap in right center. There you see it with Gordon just to the left of center. Although he's starting to drift to his left, making it a more straightaway center field.
Right on the outside edge. Rack him up. 2 down.
The way Escobar was playing, he couldn't get to the bag except doing what he did, which was coming to the bag as quickly as he could and making a throw out of control. But he came a long way to get that flip from Merrifield and was able to turn 2 anyway.
Well, Escobar is just a good shortstop. It's just that's the gold standard position, so to speak, in the American League. The shortstop.
Well, there's some great young ones that come up.
Escobar is not a great shortstop, but he is a very good one. But we do have some great shortstops in this league. Davidson takes strike 1.
This whole Kansas City team with just 39 errors this year. That leads all of baseball.
And we have 75, which is unacceptable. Got it. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Still no runs on that board.
You can follow Dan Hayes, our White Sox insider, all season long on csnchicago.com, presented by The Great Escape. So whether it's pools, patio furniture, hot tubs, or more, escape your everyday. Shop The Great Escape. And now for Derek, his second time through the order. He faced the minimum the first time through.
Merrifield, Bonifacio, and Hosmer sent out a shout out to a couple of my nemesis here in Kansas City. Topper, Mark Topping, and Duper. Topper and Duper. Bill Duplessis. Frick and Frack. Two little imps. Troublemakers. They love baseball.
It's a good thing. Good thing to love a beautiful game. And
well,
it is that.
That ball deep in the left field. And it is 1-0 Kansas City.
9th home run, 40th driven in for Whit Merrifield. After popping up the first time, he certainly liked what he saw this time in our 4th home run replay. Got a fastball, inner portion, and it's second time through. Derek might have to vary somewhat that approach of going in consistently to the right-handers as Merrifield takes him out.
Bonifacio walked. Takes ball 1. Two and 0. And that evens the count at 2.
A couple of curveballs back to back. Bonifacio didn't have real good swings at either of them. Try to get him on a fastball inside. Nice breaking ball dropped over the outside part of the plate. Probably gets the job done in this at bat. Eric Hosmer waiting on deck.
Breaking ball down in the end. Full count. Gap in left center. And it is 2-0. Getting the over breaking ball, and those have a tendency to go a long way. It's almost a blueprint of the one he had last night.
Home run number 13. Bonifacio is now driven in 30. And back-to-back home runs. Ford home run replay. It's a floater. This one was not much of a curveball, not much of a cutter. It just kind of came and spinning over the middle of the plate. Bonifacio, for the second time in as many days, has hit a home run.
Off that same pitch. I'd like to have a dozen golf balls every time I've ever seen it. 3-2 breaking, get me over breaking balls go a long way.
They do that.
You're going to throw a breaking ball in 3-2, throw a good one. Throw it with conviction. Just don't think you can spin it and get a guy out. Hosmer hit into a 3-6-3 double play. Davidson made a good throw. They doubled him up at first.
Eric Hosmer has played in every game for the Royals this year. Like he was going to miss the opening game attending to a family matter, but got back and started to play after being used as a pinch hitter. He played the rest of the way, and you look at AL hit leaders. Hosmer right there. Altuve just tearing it up with Ramirez, Dickerson, and Hosmer. Kansas City did it right. As far as #1 draft picks, they picked two guys at the corners that they could build around at their respective positions. Two good defenders in Moustakas and Hosmer, both first-round picks. I think Moose came 1 year earlier than Hosmer.
Well, in years past, you didn't think too much about a first baseman, especially, who was going to hit you a lot of home runs and was not that adept at defense.
Oh, there's a lot of guys that wound up
exactly
at first base because they couldn't play the outfield.
Exactly.
Or
right.
They couldn't play the infield in any other position.
That
those
no
days
longer holds
No,
true.
those days are gone.
They are definitely gone.
Yeah. Too much involvement with the first baseman, the plays he has to make.
Well, the game is just a lot faster than it used to be. You cannot have a bad third baseman or a bad first baseman and expect to win. You can't do it. And that's hit high and deep.
That's back to back to back.
And what was the pitch?
One that he would like back. One that didn't break quite as much as he would have liked.
That's what you get.
And Hosmer hitting his 15th, driving in his 47th. Our Ford home run replay. It's a breaking ball.
Just a roller.
And it's gone.
Just to get me over. And he did. He got it over the fence. So here comes Coop.
Ford getting a lot of early publicity in this one. Unfortunately, second time through the order has not been kind to Derek Holland. CB Buckner is going to go out to break it up and get this getaway day ball game back to playing. First time since 2006, May 25th. 3 home runs in a row.
And here's Salvador out of Valencia, Venezuela. High pop up. Now Engel's going to take charge, as he should, and that's out number 1. And you can come celebrate Christmas in July on Friday, July 28th, when our Sox take on the Cleveland Indians at 7:10, and be sure to stay for the postgame fireworks show presented by Athletico Physical Therapy. Now, Athletico Physical Therapy, better for everybody, so get your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. Moustakas grounded to Saladino, the shortstop, who was playing on the way on the first base side of second. So he hit into the shift, and the shift was the one that got him. Saladino, he's got him. And that's out number 2.
I remember one afternoon, Cincinnati Reds at the time, the Big Red Machine came to town, gave up 5 home runs in 2 1/3 innings.
You did?
Yes, 5 solo shots. Manager Jim Marshall came to take me out. Well, he hadn't signaled yet. He just walked to the mound. I said, well, what are you going to do? He says, I think you're done. I said, the record's 6. It's only the 3rd inning. He said, no, I think you're done. Thank you, and that was it.
Oh.
There's nothing. There's some days where there's nothing you can do. You throw them up there, and every time they make good solid contacts, it seemed to leave the yard. Second time through for Derek has been one of those days.
Escobar takes the strike. We don't hear as much grunting and yelling as you used to in years past either. Most of the time, not all the time, but that's into center field. And that's going to retire the side, but back to back to back. Merifu, Bonifacio, and Hosmer, and it is 3-0 Kansas City. 3-0. Three consecutive home runs by Kansas City. As Moncada struck out his first trip. Takes ball one. But I was talking about, you don't hear that today. You know how tennis players, and they will close, very close. And kind of can get it down the line. So 1 out, but you know when they hit the ball, return the grunt. Some of them even scream, yell, you know. Well, there were a lot of pitchers in the past when they would throw a 3-2 get me over breaking ball. And as soon as they let it go, they go, no!
That can happen too.
Oh, yeah.
You know when it leaves your hand, it's not a good pitch.
They just scream, no! Then look at the umpire and say, give me another one. Saladino grounded out to his counterpart, Escobar.
Six groundouts in the early going as Travis Wood is keeping the ball down pretty well and able to get ahead. So this, just his third start of the year, is turning out to be exactly what Ned Yost would have wanted.
High pop up, foul. They can't get there. Well, I'm sure you played with some pitchers who grinded all the time. That used to be fairly common.
I think you hit on the head when you talked about, to me, more tennis players do that than pitchers. But occasionally you'll find guys that are max effort guys that want to give you that loud grunt after making a pitch.
Who were they talking about a month or so ago? A pitcher who was having trouble, all of a sudden he started grunting again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do, because I remember the story, and it was an opponent on the last homestand. I'm not sure who.
That's a base hit. Saladino. 1 out single. Narvaez struck out his first trip. Let's get a little something going here, boys.
Wood already has one pickoff. That was Yolmer at second base.
And there's a base hit. That a boy, Omar. 1 out, 2 on.
Omar took that fastball right over Escobar's head at shortstop. So a couple of men on with an out here in the 5th as the Sox try to break through against Travis Wood. And now C.B. Buckner wants to break up yet another meeting at the mound.
And here's Yolmer. Jumped all over first ball fastball and hit a double in the left center field. And there's a base hit. So that'll load him up.
Three straight singles. Now we move to the top of the order.
Good job by Saladino right there, making sure that ball got through.
Well, I'm sure that he knew that Hosmer was well off the line, and you don't want to get doubled up and taken out of the inning. So your first start is back to the bag, and then realizing it went through, he's content. Stay at third and load him up.
So here is Engel. Stay fair. Stay fair. It will. It will, and it's going to clear the bases, and this game is tied at 3. A bases clearing double by Adam Engel.
Ever Magianis took a gamble, and that gamble is that somewhere in the transfer between Moss to Escobar, there was either going to be a bad throw or one that you couldn't control, and that's what happened. This one down the line, and it's going to unload and tie the ball game. But take a look at Escobar. He's got not only a good chance, he'd have thrown out Yolmer at the plate by plenty. However, right here he misses the ball. He's getting ready to throw it. The ball drops out of his glove, and so an aggressive piece of base running, and the gamble pays off.
Well, Yolmer read that play perfectly. Well, I'll tell you one thing. They go back to back to back, and we go back to back to back. There's a homers, ours a single. But Pete Catazone's picked to click. Adam Engel.
And Alan Hansen.
So Cabrera's leg, probably her foot, still bothering him. In case you're just tuning in, he fouled one off his left foot hard.
Last 2 ball games in this series, the Sox jumped off to a relatively early lead and dropped both of them.
Well, one thing, even in this losing streak we've been in, and even with the doldrums, so to speak, winning ball games we've been in, is here comes Yost. The one constant has been Ricky's boys won't quit.
No, they're going to play a whole lot of close games the rest of the way, and this one no exception. So talked about the fact that there was a good chance Wood wouldn't make it through the 5th inning. That's exactly what happened, and they'll go to the pen, and as they do that, we'll step out. Be back after these messages.
Council. Join the fun on Saturday, July 29th in Lot B at Guaranteed Rate Field, and tickets include baseball buffet catering, tailgate games, and much, much more. So visit whitesox.com/YPC for ticket information and more details.
Our Hyundai call to the pen is Kevin McCarthy, and he comes into this putting together a pretty solid season. On for the 15th time. His ERA at 2.41. There you see the rest of the numbers. Not a fireballer. Only 8 strikeouts in his 18 2/3 innings of work. So for Travis Wood, his day is done. And he would certainly enjoy a no decision in this one now that the win has been out of the equation.
There's Abreu, a single and a walk. Nothing in one to count to Abreu.
McCarthy went to Marist University on a baseball scholarship.
And they're not going to catch that one. We're going to take a lead. One hops the fence. And it's a 4-3 Sox lead as Engel scores on the 26th double from Jose Abreu.
This will close the book on Travis Wood. Is that fastball down, out over the plate, and tattooed into the gap. RBI number 60 for the big man, who's had a perfect day. A single, a walk, and now a run-scoring double.
Don't stop now, boys. Sat on as here's Avi. Avi is 1 for 2. Had a single back in the first inning. And that's high into short right field. Bonifacio coming on makes the catch. But a crooked number goes up on that board. We are halfway home, leading 4-3. All right, Art Chuck, thank you very much. Alan Hansen has moved into left field in place of Cabrera, who is out because of that injured left foot. Brandon Moss, then a count 0-2.
For Melky, it must really be bothering him because normally he doesn't want to come out of any games at any time, and he just as soon start every day. So Melky played in his 92nd game of the year.
Diamondbacks will conclude this game, this series. Board our charter. Come on back home.
Well, home and home with the Cubbies.
And 0-2. It's now 3-2.
That is the currently iced foot of Melky.
Oh, 2 and walks it. Dreaded leadoff walk. Second walk issued by Gary. Well, tomorrow. Tomorrow at 1:20, the game will be over. CS in Chicago. Tuesday's game will be over WGN. Both starts at 1:20. Miguel Gonzalez against Kyle Hendricks. Miguel was just awesome last time out. And on Tuesday, Carlos Rodon against John Lackey. Then they come over to our place for 2. On Wednesday, it'll be Jake Arrieta against James Shields. And on Thursday, John Lester against Mike Pelfrey. Pelfrey, who pitched well yesterday. Rack him up. Second double play turn by the Sox.
And they were both turned after a walk. After walking Bonifacio in the first inning, Hosmer grounded into an inning-ending double play, and after walking Moss to lead off this inning, a 4-6-3. Not exactly out of the inning yet, but one hitter away, and that hitter is Drew Butera.
And a reminder that tomorrow, 1:20 start at Wrigley. Tuesday, 1:20 start. Then over to our place, 7:10 start on Wednesday. And 7:10 start on Thursday, and there are limited tickets for Wednesday and Thursday's game at our place. So call up and get yours. A limited amount left.
And we encourage you to get to both of those games early. There'll be huge crowds, and you want to get there and avoid as much of the traffic as you can. It's number 81 on the way with 2 outs here in the 5th.
Butera, it's the best we've seen him swing the bat since we've ever seen him.
Well, one of the things in talking with the folks here in Kansas City before the series started, they said that because Butera has swung it pretty well, and they know that his defense is wonderful. So just getting the occasional hit, and he's had more than the occasional hit in this series, getting a lot more play, meaning you can rest Salvi more and keep him fresher. So it's a win-win as far as Ned Yost and the Royals are concerned, because of the man you're looking at swinging it probably in this stretch as well as he swung it during the course of his career.
Picks up his third double of the season. It's Merrifield. He started off that back-to-back home runs last inning.
Nice stop by Omar. That curveball in the dirt, he moved to his left, angled his body, made sure that when it did hit him off the chest protector, it would just dribble in front instead of flying to either side.
To the count. So Witt, 10-game hitting streak now, and he's driven in 5 runs in this series.
Well, there is a bad call that Derek Holland absolutely loved. He loved that call. Didn't like it. He loved it.
Oh, you pitchers.
Well, it had, I mean, the catcher caught it. It should be a strike. If the catcher can catch it, it should be in the neighborhood.
Steve Stone, the pup out of Jim Palmer. That's foul. Thank you. Watch out.
Ooh, that Ball guy had some problems with that sinking line drive. He's shaking his head. He knew, you know, he got in front of it. He gave it his best shot, but the ball was moving. Yeah, it sunk on him. Hit him in the knee. But he's not going to rub it because he's a tough guy. So because you've got a catcher at second base, what Derek Holland is saying most likely is don't give me a signal here. Let's throw the pitch he wants to wipe him out on without a signal, so that Drew Butera, who is adept at reading signals, certainly adept at, if he wants to, giving location.
Well, these two guys here with Merrifield at the plate and Butera at second, that is a real possibility.
Yeah, yeah, two smart players. And no signal.
Yeah, that with some guys you can say, what are you joking? Are you kidding me? Not with those two.
Bonifacio waiting for the resolution of this at bat to see if the inning is still alive. It'll be a wild pitch. And it's going to be ball 4.
And here comes Bonifacio with a walk and a home run.
Omar's out there, and one of the reasons why he is, well, now that Ricky comes out, we know the reason why he's out there, but he was going out there to explain what he wanted to do with the throw when, or if, Merrifield decides to take off. So I think he will have asked him for the baseball.
Yeah, he's made the sign.
And Anthony Swarzak will come into this one. So as he walks out, so will we. We'll be back.
At 10 p.m. our Sox take on the Cubs. First 10,000 fans will receive a White Sox lunch bag presented by United Airlines and United. Proud to fly the Chicago White Sox. Purchase tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
Our Hyundai call to the pen is Anthony Swarzak, who comes into a bit of a jam. He's got 2 on, 2 out. There you look the numbers on for the 40th time. ERA shrinking 2.36, a 4-3 record. More strikeouts than innings pitched. That's normally good. And he gets out left-handers to the tune of 170 batting average against.
Well, that wild pitch right there. According to who you got, you know, I'm sure he's got confidence in Omar, but it takes a little bit away from that slider down and away. Yeah. Huge difference.
There it was. And Bonifacio able to just barely get part of the bat on it and fouled it off.
Or Abe walked in the first, homered last inning.
Merrifield can run.
And he's got a pretty good lead. Oh, 2 the count.
13th home run of this season. Last inning. High breaking ball gone. And you would think with an 0-2 count, Merrifield would be running. 16 out of 17 in stolen bases, and he's got a huge lead at first.
There he goes. He gone. And that'll retire to the side. So another good job by Anthony Swarzak. And we lead it 4-3.
Sign up to play at CSN's Rocket League Championship at Faceit.com. That's a chance to compete for $100,000 as a grand prize pool. So register today. The Rocket League is coming.
4-8-0 for us. 3-4-0 for them. Just sitting there thinking, Kangley now with the Yankees had that one inning last night, struck out the side against Seattle. And that ball hit hard. Get over his head. It will. Thank you very much. Bonifacio will get it back in on the leadoff double by Davidson. That's his 11th two-bagger.
That's the 4th double of the afternoon. Is this one? Rockets over the head of Bonifacio in right field. And promising way to start the 6th inning as the Sox look for some insurance. Bonifacio with no chance to get that line drive rocket.
Moncada 0 for 2. Now if you're playing him deep. Go on, get him over. That last promo I read, that lunch bag presented on Wednesday, July 26th, first 10,000 fans. Lunch bag presented by all the great folks at United Airlines. And boy, I'll tell you what, Bernard Young and his crew at Atlantic Aviation do such a great job, and they'll be waiting on us when we get in tonight. And our crew with Jackie Cruz and all the girls can't travel any better than we travel. You know, when United with those people.
No, because traveling isn't easy, and they make it as easy as it could possibly be for us on a trip-by-trip basis.
Well, you got to make it go through. He didn't, and he's out.
Now that's just a real bad piece of base running, and I think Matt knows it. If he doesn't, he will when they talk to him about it. McCutcheon hit the ball hard. Unfortunately, he hit it right back at McCarthy, and then it's pretty easy after that, because the first thing any pitcher does is learn to get rid of the baseball. But the first thing, what you should do if you're in a situation like that, if you're a young pitcher, get the ball, run straight at the base runner. Make him decide on moving to one side or the other, and preferably you want to run him, if you have a chance, back to second, the base he came from. Make sure Moncada doesn't get there.
You know, you're 100% right, but unfortunately there are some managers now who don't want that to happen.
But they don't. Well, they don't believe.
They don't want the pitcher involved.
They don't believe that the pitcher is
in any way.
Right. And they do the same thing on pop-ups and everything else. They tell him to get out of the way, but he acts and reacts much better if he's a traffic cop. You avoid collisions. That's one thing. And normally, I mean, yeah, the pitchers haven't been the best athlete on the field for quite some time by the time they get here, but they were when they started out pitching in Little League.
There's a base hit. So Saladino now 2 for 3.
Fastball down, and Tyler 2 for 3. Scored the first Sox run when he got on last inning.
Ned Yost was very, very complimentary in his remarks last night after the ball game about where the White Sox are. Said in a couple of years that's going to be a monster.
Well, he's seen it. I mean,
he's experienced.
He's seen it right here in that Kansas City uniform.
Yeah. And a couple of the Kansas City players were saying the same thing. They said a couple of years from now, those guys are going to be having a lot of fun with all the talent and prospects they've got.
Ned Yost with his pitching coach to his right. That's Dave Island.
Yeah, you usually don't hear the opposing managers talk like that, though. Where in reality, there's nothing wrong with it.
No, he's just pretty much stating the obvious.
Yeah. Pokes that one into left field. Moss recovered to make the play.
Yeah, normally, because that's the domain of Alex Gordon and his 4 Gold Gloves, when they hit the ball to left field, you're pretty much sure you're out. With Moss, it's not quite as definitive.
No, that's not a can of corn.
No, he almost overran this as he sprints in and then realizing it's going to take off some, makes the catch in an inartistic way.
So here is Yolmer. A double, a single, and a run scored. Right at him, soft line drive, and that'll retire the side. So we have a threat, can't do anything with it. And we'll go to the bottom of the 6th, leading by 1.
Watch Chicago's teams battle for bragging rights. The Cubs host the White Sox for Game 1 of the series tomorrow. Coverage begins at 12 with White Sox pregame live. And because they tied last year, the Cup resides with our Sox.
And getting back to that comment by Yost, the headline on the story by Dan Hayes was Orioles think White Sox have done a phenomenal job acquiring young talent. And Yost says, have you seen what they've gotten back from tearing it down? MLB ranks the top 100 prospects. Most teams have 1 or 2. I don't think we have any. They have 10. They've done a phenomenal job of restocking their system with incredibly talented young players. He goes on with some of the other players, talking about Salvador Perez and how they all came up together, like our guys now are going to be playing together until they get here. And Salvador says we learned how to win down there and we learned how to win up here. That is really important. 0-1 to count to Hosmer. Hosmer, who has homered when they went back to back to back. That was in the 4th inning if you're just tuning in. Big hack. Danny Duffy, the left-handed pitcher, says losing Quintana stings, but they get a king's ransom back.
They got a couple of real good ones. Eloy Jimenez is one of those guys you're going to be seeing a whole lot of, because not only does he have big power, he's got huge power, but he's a good hitter to go with it.
Our Chuck was just talking about him.
Yeah, I mean, you find, look, this league has lots of powerful hitters, but many of them, in fact, the overwhelming majority, are not good hitters to go with that big power. Jimenez has both.
Boy, there is a Kansas City special right there.
When you're hitting 350 against a guy, it seems like only because it is, you swing a magic wand, and Hosmer didn't hit that ball hard, just got enough of it to drop it in front of Engel. And he's aboard in a 1-run game.
I would say for big man Hosmer might get as many, certainly against us, more than any other big man in this league.
Yeah, he puts the ball in play. Kansas City has been known to do that.
I wish we had that in our arsenal.
We'll see in the next wave. You have some guys who have the ability to put the bat on the ball consistently, because if you do, good things happen.
Perez, he's popped to short and he's popped up to center. Out and around it. Hosmer 4 for 4 in stolen bases.
What you're trying to do with Salvi Perez here is throw sliders away and encourage him to roll over one. He's grounded into 15 double plays. That leads the team. Not surprising for a catcher. But he will make some contact. He's only walked 12 times this year. 329 at bats. So he's another one of those guys that he's going to swing the bat. We'll take a look at last night when Salvador Perez came up, worried about hitting into the double play, when he should have been worried about hitting into the triple play, and they almost got him. Right at Yolmer to Yuan, and a good pick on the other end by Jose, but the flying feet of Salvi Perez stopped the triple play.
Well, you don't get out of Valencia, Venezuela by walking.
No.
You get out of there by hitting. Nice little town. I played in Valencia my first year in Venezuela.
One of the things they talked about with Perez is that when they got him as a 16-year-old, he was pretty big, not as wide as he is now, but very big. But the thing that they liked about him from the beginning, from the time he was 16, was that he was a leader on every club he was with. And ideally, you want your catcher to be a leader. He's got the entire game out in front of him. He knows all the positions. He knows all the hitters on both sides. If he's a leader, that's icing on the cake, and Perez has been from the beginning.
That's foul. I'll tell you something else. Hosmer might be the face of the franchise, but he's the leader of the franchise.
Well, there's no doubt. There's no doubt about that. And Hosmer is the face of the franchise. That's why I believe that with all the free agents they have, they're going to concentrate on keeping Hosmer here, and hopefully for the Royals and their fans, they can keep Eric here for the long run. He's a very likable guy. He plays hard each and every day. He's both an offensive player and a good one, and a defensive player, and maybe even a better one.
That guy in a couple boots down will be historically the face of this franchise.
George?
Probably for eternity.
Yeah. George Brett?
George Brett.
Indeed.
That's into center field. That's kind of corner. Got in on him. Good pitch. Tried to get short arms on it, and he just missed it, as a matter of fact. So here's Moustakas. Moustakas has grounded to short and popped to short. And both times, Saladino, the shortstop, has been on the first base side of the second. Good pitch. No chance on that one.
And with a pretty good idea that Moustakas, who has been red hot and hitting the ball out of the ballpark, would be thinking about hitting yet another one. He tantalized them with a good slider down and in off the plate, and he expanded his strike zone for strike one.
Got to blueprint him, and the count 1-1.
Moustakas was the second pick in the draft in the first round in 2007, and 1 year later they made Hosmer their first pick in the first round. So they got him back-to-back years, 07 and 08, for the corners here in Kansas City.
Well, they're not two better defensive corners in American League. I don't know about the National League.
No,
American League, they're the two best corners defensively in the league. And that adheres to the first rule when winning in the major leagues, and that's you got to catch the ball.
Naftali Feliz throwing in the pen.
Dayton Moore and his crew. That's some good ones. Art Stewart, Donnie Williams. They have done a wonderful, wonderful job here in putting together a ball club. Dayton giving his manager, Ned Yost, you know, it's like golf. If I go out and I only have to keep score for 6 holes and you have to keep score for 7 holes, I'm probably going to beat you more than you beat me.
Yeah.
Baseball, if you got to manage a 6-inning game and that guy across the field from you has got to manage a 7 or 8-inning game, you're probably going to beat him more than he beats you.
There is no doubt, and that's exactly what Ned Yost had here, and had a nice conversation with Dayton before the game, and he talked about the fact that they have a different game these days because the bullpen isn't close to what it was a few years back.
Oh yeah, he's moved from a 6-inning manager now. He's got to go at least 7, and in some cases 8, because he doesn't have that lockdown bullpen.
And now he knows how most of the managers in the game feel. So there's George Brett. He's to the left of Dayton Moore. And Dayton Moore going over with George, who's been an advisor. George has been a member of the front office for some time here.
I used to love to watch number 5 play. There he goes, and that's popped up. Yeoman. For you youngsters out there, George Brett was a third baseman, left-handed hitter. And he was one of those guys where everything he hit is a Coop's coming out. Everything he hit that was normally a single, he thought was a double until he saw it was not. Every double in the gap he thought was a triple until he saw it was not.
And he helped lead the way, but there was, in those days, and that was the mid-70s, heading into the 80s, George Brett set the tone for an entire team that did the same thing. We talked about how difficult it was to play here in St. Louis because of the artificial surface. That team played on the artificial surface, and they had more speed and more line drive hitters and were more aggressive than every team that came in to play him. So it was a huge home field advantage. George set the way, but they had a number of guys that just ran and ran until you forced them to stop, because they always looked for the extra base and took advantage of it in a spacious ballpark where the ball just rocketed to the wall off the artificial surface.
Well, they put more pressure on the opposition than any team in the American League.
Yep. They're a difficult team to play against and a very difficult team to beat.
Alcides is grounded to third and going out to center. George was that one year going for 400.
1980.
400 until he got hemorrhoids. That ended that. There's a strike.
Yeah, but as he said, as they moved to the next year, all of his problems were behind him, so he was fine then.
Well, he wasn't the first one.
Apparently you had a battle or two with that.
You better believe it. But I wasn't going for 400. Two out, 1-1 to count. Alcides can't get it. Yeah, when you're as strong as Kansas City, hit the corners, up the middle, with Escobar at short, and Lorenzo Cain in center, and Salvador Perez behind the plate, you're probably going to win more games than you lose.
Yeah, this year they've had a number of injuries to the pitching staff, and when I talked to Dayton about ideally, let's say that money was no object, which of course we know it normally is with most teams, but ideally he'd be looking for a starting pitcher and some help out of the bullpen. I don't think he's a lone ranger there. There's a lot of teams that are thinking about postseason play that are probably thinking about the same things.
Everybody's looking for the bullpen, though. Everybody.
Tough to come by. Except if you're the Yankees and you get them both in the same deal.
That's into right field. We got a man there. Line drive off the bat of Alcides Escobar. Win to the seventh, leading 4-3.
play by Odubel Herrera, the center fielder for the Phillies. He comes across. It's a 4-star catch. Catch probability at 35%. He made it look relatively easy. Long way to go for that. And his sprint speed, 29.1 feet per second.
Well, that's the thing that's different, because we had outfielders that made outstanding catches. But these guys are making it look easier today than in my time zone.
They're faster.
Sure they are.
Guys are bigger, faster, stronger, and quicker than ever.
Why is baseball exempt? Every sport is.
And there you look at Neftali Feliz with his numbers. So now working out of the pen for Kansas City, the former closer of the Texas Rangers. Feliz used to throw the ball consistently in triple digits. Not so anymore.
So here, Adam Engel 1 for 3, but he has a big hit in this ball game. Bases clearing double back in the 5th inning. You know, I was playing golf in our field of greens at Beverly, beautiful Beverly, the other day, last Monday, and a couple guys were asked me, Hawk says you're talking a lot about these guys being better players than you were, and I said, I'm talking about the average guys. I said our superstars would have been superstars today. Our superstars would have been superstars 100 years from now. I said, but the average player, like I was an average player, maybe a little bit better than average, but the average player today, these guys are better because of what Steve just said. They're bigger, they're faster, and they're stronger. And they do things, they make things look easier today than the average player from my time zone.
Well, there's no doubt physically they are much bigger. It used to be, you know, you'd see one pitcher on a staff, he would be 6'4", 6'5". Now you see a whole line of pitchers on a staff that are 6'4" and 6'5".
Well, some staffs with 6'4" guys not that big. So here is Hansen. He's been to play one time, lined out to second. And he is in there for Melky, and here's what happened with Cabrera.
Right off his left toe.
Not the paperclip.
For Melky to come out of a game, he's got to be hurt, because he doesn't come out.
No, you cannot take that away from him, as that's up the middle. Merrifield, nice play.
Well, we've seen him make some outstanding plays at second base. He's got a very accurate arm. He knew the speed of Hansen, so he got rid of it very quickly as he moved to his right. It's the second time he's made one of these throws that's been right on the button.
So here's Abreu, 2 for 2, a single, a walk, and an RBI double. Takes first pitch strike.
Kansas City, one of the few teams that plays Jose a step or so into left center field, not right center field.
You know, another thing about the players today too, 40, 50 years ago, the Latin players coming into the major leagues were not that big. Today they are huge. Yeah. And there were very few Latin pitchers. Today there are a lot of them, and they all throw from 95 up. Of course, back in those days there were only 16 teams. Now there are 30. Big gap in right center. 2 out and a 1-2. That was just he just flipped that breaking ball up there, and Jose just underneath it. Meanwhile, 7th inning stretch is a 4-3 good guy lead. Alexei! Yes! 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 History! Wow. 8 years ago today.
Pretty amazing.
Well, for me, what about over 6,000 games I've broadcast. And obviously 83 was great when Sox came back and won 99 games, went to the playoffs. Went to the playoffs again, and then of course I wasn't announcing in the playoffs for the 05 World Series. But that was my all-time favorite game right there. Mark Burley's perfect game.
It was great. And the topping on the cake was the wise catch.
That was the greatest catch under the circumstances I have ever seen in all these years.
So Jennings with the bottom part of the order coming on to preserve a 1-run lead.
I think I've called 13 no-hitters. I've called 500 home runs. I've called 400 home runs. I've called a lot of 300 home runs. Nothing like Burley, only because of why? It was Mark Burley. If it had been you, I'd have just patted you on the back and said, nice game, Steve.
Don't forget how you did it. Yeah, Moss tried to bunt his way on, almost lost the thumb.
Pulling Aaron Rowan.
Came very close to breaking his fingers, and you get hit there.
Aaron is spring training in Tucson, tried to bunt, stuck his finger into the ball and popped it like it was a balloon. $23,184. Those fans just going to work down in the seats. The cooling off fans. 2-2. He gone. He knew it. He'll grab some bench for out number one.
Moss started to walk away before C.B. Buckner had a chance to even call it. He just got outguessed. It's right there. And take a seat.
Here's Gordon. Twice he has hit into the shift, once into a 4-6-3 double play. Takes a strike. Alex has faced Jennings 8 times, has 1 hit.
Gilmer setting up to make a throw, but the carom was off the backstop.
Sox trying to get on the board in this 3-game set. They won the opener 7-6 in 10 innings, and then we had a 5-1 lead in that ball game, blew it, and then Kansas City won last night 7-2. Did not go, says Mark Carlson. He gone. 2 down.
Two up, 2 strikeouts. This was a slider.
You get worked over like that with that last strikeout pitch, you just tip your cap. Say, I'll see you next time. Don't even feel bad about it. So here's Butera. Yeah, that's the kind of work over right there that it's a lot easier to strike out when you got 2 strikes on you. So what's the moral of that story?
Well, Dan can get
Don't get 2 strikes on
he can get to 0-2 pretty quickly. Occasionally then nips at the corners, but 2 up and 2 strikeouts can hardly do much better. That one just missed off the outside corner.
Butera, that strikeout, and then that bullet double down into the left field corner. Drew is now 4 for 6 in this series. He's a very, very fine defensive player. If you told me that one of these guys is going to go 4 for 6, I wouldn't have picked Drew.
No, he wouldn't have been there in your choices, certainly.
There's a strike. He gone. Strikes out the side. So what a job. A job by Anthony Swarzak and Jennings.
Lending.com. eClick is located in Chicagoland and is rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. eClick Lending. Boom! Your mortgage just happened. And we got a new pitcher coming in the ball game. It's the second time we've seen Mike Minor in this series. He pitched in the opener on Friday night, 2/3 of an inning with a hit and a couple of strikeouts. 5-2 this year. Fine .228. Giving them another left-handed option out of the pen. Last couple of days, they've gone with 9 relievers, 9 of them, meaning you only have 2 moves off the bench. Ned Yost, concerned about that pen, has stocked up.
So here's Avi. Avi 1 for 3.
Minor had a torn labrum when he was working in Atlanta. He missed the entire 2015 season. And he was part of that Vanderbilt baseball program. It's gotten better and better down there.
Yeah, they put out some awesome teams down there. Commodores, that's up high.
David Price, one of them. We've got Carson Fulmer. That's another one. There have been a lot of really good players coming out of Vanderbilt of recent vintage.
Stockis plays it perfectly. So that is out number one. And a reminder, MLB.tv every night, every device. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live. Plus get a free subscription to an At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply, so visit MLB.tv for details. And Davidson 1 for 3, a double. That was leading off the 6th inning. If you just don't think they scored there, they scored 3 in the 4th. That was back-to-back home runs by Merrifield, Bonifacio, and Hosmer. That's popped up right side. Bonifacio. 2 down.
At one point, Mike Minor was a highly thought of starter with Atlanta. 2012, he was 11-10. 2013, he was 13-9 that year with 3.21 ERA and 32 starts. So things were looking pretty good for him, and then started to have some injury problems. So a lot of left shoulder issues, rotator cuff inflammation, and later surgery.
Moncada 0 for 3. Last time up, hit the ball hard back to the pitcher. Davidson was on second base. He got caught off, got in a pickle. But the ball was hit hard by Yawn. Well, I don't think there's any question, at least in watching baseball all these years and knowing the history of the game for quite a while. The seams on the ball are one of the biggest issues and one of the biggest reasons that all these guys are having problems.
I think that certainly is a huge factor.
When you got no seams, it's common sense. You got to work harder with that elbow and that shoulder to get a good breaking ball. When you pitched, you could lay that middle finger against the seams.
Yep. And it worked out pretty well.
Yes.
No, I mean, for the pitchers, trying to get a grip certainly, but also you could make the ball spin, either the slider or your curveball especially. And when you get a lot of rotation, you're going to get late, good, quick movement. When you don't have the rotation, you get rolling, settling breaking balls, and we've seen it's not that difficult to hit them.
Well, you just didn't have to work as hard on a breaking ball as these kids do. And you could work the ball better. You wanted to two-seam it. That ball had a little, maybe half to an inch more as he knocks it down, picks it up, and throws him out. So Moncada hit it hard the last 2 times, but meanwhile, we'll go to the bottom of the 8th, leading by 1. All right, our Chuck and Jennings still on that bump. Struck out the side in the 7th, so it'll be the top of the order for the Royals. Here in the bottom of the 8th, Merrifield, Bonifacio, and Hosmer.
Friday night, Dan Jennings threw 2 1/3 perfect innings with 3 strikeouts. So he was brilliant in the opener of the series and looking for a little more of the same here this afternoon. Going to have to keep extreme concentration. You're at the top of the order. The top of the order has been very good for the Royals. He had back-to-back home runs in the 4th inning against Derek Holland.
I'll tell you, this is not a bad offensive team. If they can get Gordon going, this is not a bad offensive team at all.
Yeah, with the concerns of their general manager Dayton Moore being starting pitcher and maybe a couple of arms in the bullpen, you know that's their area of concentration. They feel they got enough offense, and you know they have enough defense.
Yeah, that's not an issue. Offense is not going to be an issue going down the stretch with these guys, or it shouldn't be. They're hitting .252 as a club.
Maybe the only surprising thing, if this is surprising at all, they've hit 121 home runs. This team is not known to hit a whole lot of them. Our Sox hit 105.
One and 2 the count. Yeah, if Gordon starts swinging the bat, they've got 3 pretty good left-handed hitters in there. Of course, with Perez. Gives him plenty of protection. Did not go.
As we get down closer to the non-waiver trade deadline, you're going to hear lots of names, and one of the big ones is Giancarlo Stanton. Yankees apparently acquired as to his availability. Now, quite obviously, it's a huge contract, $325 million with about 200 left after this season.
Well, this game is tied. This guy has had some kind of series.
Second home run of the day, moving him into double figures. He's got 10 of them, moving at 41 runs, and the lead dissolves. 4th home run replay. It's a slider down and in, and on a very warm day without a whole lot of wind to affect it, that one goes out easily as Merrifield goes down and gets it.
Comes in, makes the play. So Bonifacio is retired.
Nine home runs the last 2 games for these Royals. Absolutely amazing. They've hit 122 of them this year.
Well, if you want to pick out star player in the series, is Whit Merrifield, counting the 6 RBIs he's driven in, a couple of home runs, and the leather he has thrown.
Yeah, he's made some great plays. Some good plays in right field, some great plays at second base.
Well, I'll tell you what, they just having a guy like that, as we talked about in game 1, is imperative today if you're going to carry extra guys out in that bullpen. And Merrifield allows them to do that. Yeah, he played center field and It's not like you're putting Chase Headley at second base like the Yankees did last night. Put Merrifield.
No, Merrifield's got good range, and Kelvin Herrera loosening in the pen. He is the closer for this team. He was a 7th inning guy when they were loaded in that bullpen.
Well, you know, Hosmer, that homer in the 4th, single, a Kansas City special in the 6th. 2 for 3. There's one.
Gregory Infante loosening in the pen. Ed Yost has staggered his lineup, so you get the left-handed Hosmer, right-handed Perez, left-handed Moustakas, then right-handed Escobar, and left-handed Moss and Gordon. Hosmer, who's got a couple of hits today, has had a red-hot July, hitting .366 with 12 driven in this month.
In the last 2 games, Royals hit 6 home runs off our bullpen.
Yeah, it's somewhat startling for a team not known for big power. So Narvaez goes out to have a word with Jennings. They get on the same page on this 3-2 pitch.
He gone. 2 down.
4th strikeout for Jennings. Went to the high fastball, and Rick Renteria now coming out to the mound. Most likely, you would think it would be time for Infante to go head-to-head with Salvi Perez, but Ricky tells Dan Jennings, nice job. He exits, but he exits with a tie, and we'll step out. Be back after these messages.
And is accessible from all levels of guaranteed rate field. Now the space features batting and pitching cages, base running areas, and skill instruction from White Sox Training Academy coaches. And while there, check out the latest Xfinity technology, including the X1 platform. X1 by Infinity, and it will change. It will change the way you experience TV.
Our Hyundai call to the pen is Gregory Infante, who will inherit the bases clean. On for the 24th time. Game squarely in his hands in this 4-4 tie. His ERA 4.56. There you look at the rest of the numbers. He's got Perez, and he wants to end it there because you've got Moustakas in the on-deck circle coming up next. And he's got 3 home runs in a little less than the 3 games played in this series.
Salvador has popped to short, popped to center, and then he just missed one to center. Good breaking ball. Stayed on top of that one.
And he buckled the knees of Perez.
One and one the count. 4-4 tie here in the bottom of the 8th inning. If you're just joining us. And if you're just tuning in, they have 4 home runs in this game. 4 solo shots, obviously. The score is 4-4. We have no home runs. RBIs for us. The bases clearing double by Adam Engel to tie the game at 3 back in the 5th inning, and then also in the 5th an RBI double by Abreu to put us ahead 4-3. Now the home run by Whit Merrifield here in the bottom of the 8th. Wind, just gentle breeze blowing out to right. Ivy is, well, if it's over his head, it's a 5-4 Kansas City lead.
You can hardly get any deeper in right. He's back there a couple steps from the track.
This is just about as deep as you're going to see a right fielder play.
Perez wants to know what the count is. It's 3-2, Salvi. It's 3-2. And C.B. Buckner knows what the count is. And now the scoreboard knows what the count is.
Payoff pitch. He gone. Good. 3-2 pitch right there. That wouldn't have get me over. But they tied. We're into the 9th. 4-4.
Brought to you by Miller Lite. Here's our Miller moment, and it came off the bat of Adam Engel. He went down and got this, unloading the bases, which were loaded when he came to bat. A 2-base hit, driving in 3, giving him 8 runs batted in. And at the time, all was beautiful here in Kansas City. And now we've got a new pitcher in a tie game heading into the top of the 9th. It is their closer, Kelvin Herrera, on for the 41st time. This is a non-save chance, but he's been 19-22. The ERA a little bit higher than he would like, certainly. And there you look at the fact that left-handers have dominated against him. So the bottom part of the order against their closer here in the top of the 9th.
And that 3-run double by Engel. Our Pete Catazone made a good choice today. That was his pick to click. So here's Tyler, 2 for 3 with a run scored. Looking for it, got it, and trying to keep the arm short on it. Fouls it away right side.
You can just get ahead of anything. The huge gap in left center. Herrera has a good straight change, but because his fastball's in the upper 90s, that straight change, anywhere from 88 to 90, has been very effective.
You're not going to get that one up there.
Now Herrera's given up 8 home runs this year, 8 in 37 innings. That's a really high total for a guy who is the closer on this team.
Well, the first thing you say to yourself when you get ready to step in that box is make him get it down.
Yeah, triple digits are close to it, and when it's upstairs, your chances are slim.
1-2. Somebody got a hit in that Cardinal game. Was it yesterday in the dugout?
Didn't see it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't care where you are. You got to watch the baseball. Meanwhile, 1 out. Especially if you have your family with you.
Teller expanded his strike zone on a few pitches up and out of the zone. He's a strikeout victim.
Yeah, well, he's going to go after those. He's going to grab some pitch. Narvaez, 1 for 3, a single and a run scored. Ball hit hard. Oh, nice. Look at this guy. He is put the star on for this series. Whit Merrifield. What a 3-game series he has had.
Well, that's going to be a base hit. But Merrifield had other ideas. Good, quick first step to his right. And able to make the play from his knees. Cosmo kept his foot on the bag. Pretty good effort on both sides of the equation.
Yeah, when you got Moustakas and you got Hosmer and you got Perez and you got Alex Gordon, of course he's been struggling, but and all of a sudden you play at Kansas City, a 3-game series, and Whit Merrifield is going to be the hero. You're probably going to lose all 3.
He's had quite a series.
Yolmer's 2 for 3 with a run scored.
Homer has 3 of his 4 home runs from the side he is currently batting from, the left side, where he's much better than he is as a right-hand hitter.
Jacks it up. He did not go. We're 10-0 for us. 4 6-0 for them. They have 4 home runs. We have none. We've stranded 5. They've stranded 3. Three and 1. Adam Engel on deck. And the count goes full.
That was a very hittable fastball on a fastball count, and Yolmer fouled straight back. That one was down where you could catch up to it, but he couldn't put the good part of the bat on it.
Yeah, 2 years ago instead of 95, that would have been probably 101. 1-2-3 inning for Herrera, and we'll go to the bottom of the ninth. Moustakas will lead it off.
Moustakas will lead it off, and he's had quite a series. Last night, a rolling breaking ball from David Holmberg leaves the yard. Then in the 8th, he comes up again and hits it much farther. And he now has 28 home runs.
All right, 23,184. And they want some action. They want to find a way to keep them quiet. base hit. He had no intentions on that swing, that pitch to try to get greedy.
No, this time
he's starting to figure it out, Steve.
Yeah, this one it's guiding it because you can't drive this ball, and he knew that. So Bruce is not from the school that says take that aggressive turn at first base.
So Lorenzo Cain's going to come out and run for Moustakas. Yeah, Moose is starting to figure it out. It's always been there. He just didn't know what to do with it. Now he's starting to figure it out.
So Cain comes on, and you're talking about a man who is 16 for 16 in stolen bases. So now Don Cooper is going to come out. He's going to explain to them how he wants to, one, pitch to Escobar, and two, perhaps defend what is coming up offensively from Ned Yost. Escobar is a butter, and he's a good one. And he has 4 sacrifices this year, which nobody else in this Royal team has more than 1. They only have 13 as a team, so Ned Yost doesn't bunt often, but the man at bat by far is the best handler of the bat they have. Yomer in very close at the cut of the grass, third. And Davidson has to hold Lorenzo Cain, the speed burner, at first base, and he's got a big lead.
As normal for him.
Early in the count, if you're not familiar with the move of any pitcher, you get what's called a one-way lead, which is a lot longer than you normally would, with only one thing in mind, that's going back to the bag. So you're not thinking about second when you're trying to force a pitcher's best move.
Well, what you're saying is right. The only difference in that is that only good base runners do that.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he's one of them.
He's one of them.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's one of them.
Well, I'll be very short out there in right field for Alcides. There's a bit of a break right there. And the count 0-1. Escobar's grounded to third, going out to center, and lined to right field.
Cain now knows that he can probably get maybe another extra step on the lead, because he's seen the fastest moves that Gregory has.
Yeah, he's seen what he's got.
Yep.
And for sure he can get another half step.
Normally, and you don't know what's going to happen, we really can't tell, but normally this is not a good pitch to run, because it's easy on 0-1 to call a pitch out.
Boy, that was some absolute instant recognition.
Yeah, that's except as soon as that ball was in the dirt and Lorenzo could identify that it's in the dirt, he's taken off, and so now a completely different at bat for Escobar. He's just off to the races, and there was no hesitation. And you said he's one of the better base runners. There's an example of it. When you tell yourself anything in the dirt, you're going, then you see it, you're gone.
Yeah, that was instant.
Yep.
And a lot of our older fans will remember Jose Valentin, shortstop for us. He was as good as anybody ever saw it then. Of course, you have to pre-plan that. You have to think about it. You have to think about, okay, if that ball's in the dirt, I'm out of here. Jose had that instant recognition because he was ready for it.
Well, Ned Yost has a couple of different options. One is to bunt, and then you'd want it to the third base side. The other is to allow Escobar to hit the ball to the right side.
Well, that's the thing. He can go either way now because it's got a 1-1 count. He can give him one shot, and that way he gives him a chance to knock him in. Where the other way, if he bunts and he's not going to knock him in, he gives up the out. So we'll see how.
Saw that there was going to be a throw to second. Adam Engel in center field came racing toward the play because the center fielder has one responsibility. You see it here. You see as soon as Gregory turned around, Adam was racing in. That's his one responsibility. On an overthrow, you got to make sure he can't get to third base. Most center fielders will do that. The younger ones might not. Adam is one of the younger ones, but he's one of the better ones, and he did.
Well, Adam Engel's on top of his game defensively.
Yep.
He is doing everything right out there in center field. Watch out.
That hit him, and that got him on the wrist. And there's a lot of small bones where that pitch hit him. You're taught in a situation where you think there's going to be a bunt to throw high fastballs. He certainly was not trying to hit him, and that got him flush.
That's one of the last places you want to get hit. Even if it does not break or fracture anything, that thing can linger for a week or 2 weeks with bad soreness.
And here comes Rick Renteria. Long, slow walk to the mound. It looks like he's got Tyler Clippard throwing in the pen. So we will see. And it looks like it because it is him. So as he trots in, we'll step out. We'll be back after these messages. Is Tyler Clippard. He inherits base runners at first and second. Man on second's the only one that matters as you look at the numbers combined between the Yankees and the Sox. 1-6 with an ERA up over 5. He was out there and gave up the game-winning sacrifice fly to who else? Whit Merrifield in the opener of this series on Friday night. He'd done everything else. He might as well have done that. And hopefully he will not come in this situation to make a difference.
So but here's Brandon Moss. Grounded to short, a walk and a strikeout, and he has faced Tyler twice, and he's 0 for 2.
He has not had a sacrifice bunt, which shouldn't be surprising from a guy who's a slugger.
Danger here at. Oh yeah, big motion. Just pull the string on.
That's his pitch. That straight change is why Tyler Clippard is still around. Low these many years.
And Moss 28 home runs last year with St. Louis.
And Dave Ross informs us that Brandon Moss has a total of 0 sacrifice bunts his entire career.
Another change up in the count, 1-1.
Edemango is awfully shallow in center field.
Oh yeah, that fastball got it in a good spot up high. He chased it. In the count 1-2. He got a cookie there and missed it. I'll tell you, for the last Steve, for the last 8 years, 7th, 8th, and 9th innings in this ballpark have just been
lengthy,
a disaster,
and nightmarish.
A disaster.
Lengthy and nightmarish. Yes, sir.
Pops it up. Stay in here.
He won't.
Nope. Nope. Oh boy, I'm telling you, 7th, 8th, and 9th innings at Kauffman Stadium. Ugly. Ugly. Stevie's going to give him a chance to get some heads together out there in the bottom of the 9th inning. 2 on, nobody out, and a 4-4 tie, which is the right thing to do. Outfield shallow, especially in center. And this ball game is over.
But he hit him up with a fastball inside and could not get it there as Moss, who had a quiet series, dives in his 24th, and this one a game winner, and the Royals go on to sweep our Sox.
And the funny thing about it, we've had the lead in all 3 games, so it's a battle of bullpens.
And here it is. He made him look bad on changeups and threw a low fastball, which left-handers salivate about. He got it, hit it, ended it.
All right. So for my partner, Steve Stone, our producer, Keon Dolashahi, our director, Todd Benjaminson, our associate producer, our great associate producer, Dave Ross, our technical manager, Mark Harper. Also for Sarah Blattner, Adam Rodenberg, Janice Murray, Rich Birdsong. They always do a great job, our crew here in Kansas City. Also the executive producer, Jim Corno Jr. This is a hallmark. So long, everybody. Coming up next is Subaru Postgame Live. You've been watching White Sox Baseball on CSN Chicago.
Woo-hoo.